I didn't know who she was. I didn't know where she was. I didn't know how she got there. I just came home one night, and there she was. Well, in those days, we hadn't known you as a solo artist. As a matter of fact, the only record of yours I'd heard was by the Diversions. Do you remember them?
Yes, of course.
And what was your hit?
We had a version of a Jamaican record called Fatty Bum Bum. And I think we got up to about number 35 in the charts, something like that. But we were overtaken by Carl Malcolm.
Do you think you would have emerged as a solo artist had it not been for Stiff Records coming along in the late 70s?
I think that it was a very good opportunity for me because at that time they had just lost some of their artists. Elvis Costello and Nick Lowe had gone somewhere else, and they were looking for new artists. I think they were also looking for girls, so I have to say that was in my favor. And so I think, yes, it was very lucky for me because I don't think any other record company would have signed me up at that point.
Well, you said that Stiff were looking for new artists. Where did they find you, a demo tape or a gig?
A man called Charlie Gillett introduced me to Stiff. He was a DJ at that time on Radio London, and I wrote him a letter and asked if he could find me a job as a sax player. And he read my telephone number over the air, and nobody rang me up. So I wrote him a letter and just said, you know, look, there must be something you can do. And he called me up, and I went to see him, and he was forming this mass band called the Oval Exiles, and I was one of them. It was a huge band with 3 vocalists and several different guitar players and drummers and things. And it all sounded pretty good at the time, but when we actually got into a studio and tried to put something down, it sounded pretty much a mess. So he decided to split the band up 3 different ways. And so I became the lead singer overnight.
With backing musicians behind you who were a regular band.
Mm.
And almost straight away, Lucky Number took you to the top 5 of the charts. How did you come to write that one?
Well, Charlie had suggested that I do a version of Tommy James' number, I Think We're Alone Now, because he'd never heard a girl doing it before, and he thought it was perhaps an interesting idea, and I liked the song. And I really wasn't writing songs for myself at that time, although I was wanting to. I was just a little bit unconfident. And so really, Lucky Number was the first song that I wrote, and it was meant to be the B-side of Tommy James. And eventually turned up to be an A-side in its own right.
Most of the numbers on your first solo album with Stiff you did write yourself, but one exception was Say When, which is another hit.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you come across that one?
That was introduced to me also by Charlie Gillett. It was a writer called Jimmy O'Neill. And I've just recorded another song written by him on my new album, a song called Sister Video. I like the way he writes very much, and it's very hard to find songs that I feel affinity with, but he seems to come up with them every now and again.
Plenty of good to me. Yeah, you got plenty of energy. And I know that you're big and strong. But how could it also don't go wrong?
Well, not only did you find success in England, but in various places, but not all, on the continent. Now, how did you become popular in certain countries over there?
Well, I suppose by going over and touring. I've always liked to think of myself as an international artist, and I've always had great affinity with Europe and European things. Most recently, I've been in France doing a film for TV. It's a thriller, which means I get to play an acting part, although I do play a part of a singer.
Does she live?
Well, it's a kind of a complicated story because I play the part of a singer who's supposed to have disappeared off the coast of California, supposed to be dead. Then it turns out that she isn't dead. She gets killed in the end, but it isn't really her. It's a little bit complicated.
Tu ne le tues pas tout de suite?
Je vais lui arracher les tétons pour qu'il m'explique.
Tu lui arraches pas autre chose?
Je te les ferai bouffer, salope.
Toi et moi, on aurait été souvent rencontrés avant.
J'étais pas née. Ils vont le tuer. Je t'en prie, dis. Je suis là, mon bébé, t'es sauvé. Et vous ne bougez pas, hein? Non, t'es pas elle!
Tout ce que tu veux, ma petite sœur.
You came out with a single called Bird Song, which had one of the most extraordinary introductions of all time. A lengthy instrumental passage with you chittering away at a very high range in the background. I thought it was absolutely extraordinary. It wasn't particularly commercial, but it was fascinating. Did you pay attention to the commercial aspect of your releases?
Well, it's difficult really to speculate what is commercial. The only thing I can do is what thrills me. So I spend most of the time thrilling myself, really, and hoping that other people would like it. I mean, I like to be liked.
Have you rehearsed to press yourself to a greater range?
I find it fascinating just seeing what a voice can do, technically. And when I was first trying to sing, I used to spend time every day as I was walking to art school, just for fun, just to see how high I could get, and then sometimes to see how low I could get. Just sing anything, really, not singing scales or anything, because I'm not, musically, I'm not very technically understanding about music. So I just sang anything I liked, just little tunes, making up things, just going higher and higher. And after about a year, I found that my range did increase incredibly.
It was ironic that after not breaking in the States with Lucky Number, as you had here, you had a major success in the dance chart with New Toy. That after not breaking in the States with Lucky Number, as you had here, you had a major success in the dance chart with New Toy. And here another writer enters your life in the form of Thomas Dolby.
Yes, that's right. I first met Tom when he was playing for Bruce Woolley. He was playing keyboards for Bruce Woolley in the Camera Club. And we toured with that band in America for our first big major tour of the States. And I was attracted to his playing then. Later on we met because he wrote me a letter to say that he had a dream about me. And well, I needed a keyboard player, so it was very handy actually to get in contact with him again. We met each other and he brought me a song called New Toy, which I really, really liked, and decided to record it. When we came to making a video to promote the single, we all arrived at this big house, and he came running up and very excited and said, "This is the place of my dream." So maybe it was fate.
Sometimes you make me feel, I feel so insecure. Sometimes you make me feel nothing at all. Look at the TV, look at the news. I'm sick of the radio. What can you do? I'm sick of the Hoover. Sick of it all. So what can I do? I get a new toy to keep my head expanding. I get a new toy, nothing too demanding. And then one everything is in roses, you don't get any head rest. And a new toy, you'll find us in the bedroom.
Why is it that you had such a hiatus between your first albums and your current one?
I don't understand that question, Paul.
Well, in other words, why so long without a new record?
Well, it's not really my idea. It's just that I think with a tight economic situation as it is, record companies are being more and more careful about what product they put out and finding themselves needing to sell a lot of records. So perhaps they're not willing to take so many risks, and perhaps that means that artists like me have got to in some way try to conform to what the record company thinks is a good idea. But now, you see, I'm a very stubborn person, and I believe very strongly in what I do, and if I think what I'm doing is good and feel good about it, it's not very attractive for me to compromise. So I guess that's why it's been a long time. Now it seems we found something after 2 years that they like and I like also.
And instantly you went straight into that American dance chart again with It's You, Only You. Mine schmerz?
Schmerz.
Now it can be asked, what is a schmerz?
Schmerz is a German word which means pain. It doesn't necessarily have to mean a bad pain.
Let's say goodbye to our friends of the night. There's nothing for us here. Always been longing for a moment like this. Don't want to waste it here. Isn't it strange how sure you can be when you find the one you want? Isn't it strange how crazy you go when you finally won the one that you want? A moment like this. Maybe, baby, we can make it. It's you, only you. Well, I know what I want, and I'm sure I can get it. But it's you, only you. Well, I know what I want.
Well, one of the records, or one of the songs on the current album, is one that also appears in the stage production of Mata Hari. It's called Rocky Road. And this stage production, which you did put on at the Lyric Theater, the Lyric Studio, for about a month, I believe, in Hammersmith, must have taken some time. And after all, you did write it with Les Chappell, didn't you?
Yes, and collaborated with another friend of ours, Chris Judge Smith.
What attracted you to the life of this alleged master spy?
I suppose that I found affinity with her creative spirit, really. It didn't have anything to do at all with the espionage idea. In fact, after having done intensive research, I found it very, very difficult to discover a serious motive for her espionage work. Now, what I found exciting about it was that at the age of 30, she had decided that she wanted to be a dancer after having had a failed marriage, and 2 children were poisoned while she was living in Java. One of them died and one survived. She'd had a lot of traumatic things happen to her. And I think when she went to live in the East Indies, when she married her husband, see, she was originally Dutch. She went to live in Java when she married her husband for 6 years, became totally absorbed with the culture of the East, and decided that that's what she wanted to be. She wanted to be an Eastern person.
It's a bit hotter in here than it is in my sitting room. This is the Turkish bath at the Royal Baths in Harrogate. And while I've been sweating it out, Lena has been getting into costume as Mata Hari. The woman has returned from the Far East and has captivated Paris with her erotic, exotic dancing. She sings a song to celebrate her own success.